Morning traders, welcome to the CloudChartist weekly Ichimoku chart wrap-up for Sunday night, March 22nd. We're going to start off with CL, crude, light sweet crude, May contract. We noticed last week that we caught a bounce after making a new low and finished with a potential spinning top doji with a potential for a trend change to the upside. We're still fully bearish in Ichimoku terms as we are below the cloud, below the Tenkan-sen, below the Kijun-sen. I will expect to see a flattening in the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen this week due to the bounce, the buyers coming in off the lows, and I expect a test of the Tenkan-sen above, currently at 48.33. Might open at a different level this week, but so that will be key to see whether we can get over the Tenkan-sen. If we do get over the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen does go flat, that would open up the possibility for appreciation towards the Kijun-sen. But we'll see how the Tenkan-sen treats price. If we are unable to get over the Tenkan-sen, we can expect that to be a good area to short. Next up, we have the ES, fully bullish in Ichimoku terms. Beautifully bullish chart. We're above the cloud, above the Tenkan-sen, and above the Kijun-sen. The Chikou, this red line here, which represents price time shifted 26 periods into the past. So in this situation, we have 26 weeks in the past. Is above the price action, so fully bullish. We had a pullback to the Tenkan-sen. Tenkan-sen held, and then last week's candle very bullishly bounced off the Tenkan-sen as expected. So if we get more buying, we can expect fresh new highs. If we get selling, we can look for the Tenkan-sen at 20.45.75 to hold. Overall, very bullish. Next up, we have gold. Gold got a bullish bounce off this potential reversal candle that I mentioned last week with a close above. We do have a lower low and a higher high, so no official trend change. It's an outside candle. We have a flat Kijun-sen above that could attract price higher, but until we get a higher low and a higher high, we don't have a confirmation of the trend change. So we'll see what happens. If we do go higher, the Chikou here will come into resistance at the bottom of the candles here, so keep an eye on that occurring. And the Kijun-sen at 112, at 12.19.10 will act as resistance. Next up, we have silver. Silver put in a very ridiculously bullish candle, helped a lot by last Friday's extreme move. Over 4% relative strength compared to gold was about 4 times. But we did get rejected at the Tenkan-sen. I got short at 16.88 based on that Tenkan-sen rejecting price. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if the Tenkan-sen holds and continues to be resistance. If so, we can look for support at the Kijun-sen at 16.33 below. If that's lost, then support down here at the 15.50 level. That's continued to hold support as in the past. Next up, we have the Russell TF, finally putting in a really strong breakout. I mean, we already broke out of this range previously, but this chart looks incredibly bullish. Some warning signs that I've been talking about each week that we have coming up in the future for April is the cloud actually descends, we get a twist, and this very thin flat cloud, which goes on for all of April and May. So watch for the Tenkan-sen to continue to hold support for TF. If at any point in the future we lose Tenkan-sen support, then be very cautious with longs. Next up we have the NASDAQ. Also very bullish. We came down and almost tested the Tenkan-sen, but not quite, and put in tweezer bottoms and then bounced quite a bit higher. We didn't make a new high last week, but looks good for a potential new high this week. Everything is fully bullish, including the tipped up Tenkan-sen here. If we for some reason do sell and we do lose the Tenkan-sen, then we can expect price to be attracted towards the Kijun-sen, but that seems very unlikely given this chart. Next up we have the Dow, very bullish candle once again after tagging the Tenkan-sen and closing above last week. I suggested the potential for higher prices was quite good, and indeed we did put in a very bullish candle. We did not make new highs yet, but likelihood for that is high. Once again, another bullish chart. Rising cloud below. We are a little bit extended above the cloud, but not at all overbought on RSI. None of these index charts that I'm showing are overbought yet on this weekly time frame. Next up we have ZN, the 10-year Treasury note. Very interesting performance compared to the 30-year Treasury bond is much worse. Not nearly as bullish as the 30-year. We noticed that I put fibs on this chart because I thought that this level at 50%, the 128.31 level, was key. We held as support. We held as support and then lost it, and have been trading under that level ever since. And we came up and broke through it, broke over it, then lost it again. We're trading under it, and now we're testing it once again. I feel like that level's been tested many times, so it'll be interesting to see if it holds as resistance again here. Overall, the chart is bullish in an uptrend. Close above the Tenkan-sen is bullish. Chikou is out of the cloud, but we do have sort of sideways looking cloud ahead. We also have this. We're still in this sort of crevasse that I mentioned previously could attract price action, and indeed it did. So we need a few more weeks until April, until we really have cloud support coming in at this level. So we'll see what happens. We could get a retracement back. If we lose the Tenkan-sen, then I would look for a considerable drop back towards the 23.6, 125.26 level, and then I will look for support of the cloud to kick in, in a few weeks. But we'll see what happens. But bullish for now. Till proven otherwise. Watch that 128, 175 level. Here's EB. This chart is difficult because of the contract change. Made a pardon my cats fighting in the background. Made a ridiculous gap. But as you see, we've been very bullish. Last week put in a new high. Relative strength on ZB is quite strong. We have been in the red on the RSI lately, but it's difficult to know whether that is real based on the difficulty in charting this because of the contract level gap. But overall, fully bullish in Ichimoku terms. Next up we have the Nikkei. Very bullish uptrend. Beautiful bullish uptrend. Both the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen are pointing up, and we are getting over. This is the only index chart that we're getting overbought on this weekly time frame. Just been pretty much straight up for many weeks on the Nikkei. But just because it's been going straight up doesn't mean it's going to stop. We'll see what happens. It's getting a bit extended and a bit overbought though. And finally we have the dollar. the dollar has been on a ridiculous tear also, similar to the Nikkei. We put in this ridiculous flash crash that violated the Tenkan-sen. I really don't know what to make of that flash crash. I don't know if you trade currencies or the dollar. I'm sure that you noticed what it did. It made some crazy moves in the FX market. The euro is appreciated greatly. Cable put in a ridiculous up candle and then sold off again. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to just treat this chart like that action was real, and note that we put in a hammer candle above the Tenkan-sen. So until proven otherwise, the dollar is still fully bullish. We didn't put in a higher high, however. So this is technically a new fast time frame downtrend for the dollar. So if we do sell, look for a test of the Tenkan-sen at 96.57 for further direction. Of course, we're still very much overbought on the dollar. And that is it for my main video for this week. I'm going to be making a separate video of some commodities and also some stock charts. So you can check out those also. And if you're interested in learning more about Ichimoku Charts and how I trade with them, you can check out my website at CloudChartist.com. And I do have a chat room that you can check out also. There's information about that there as well. Thanks for watching and good luck trading this week.